Hello and welcome to the Environment This Week series section of Drishti IAS. I'm Aisha, and in today's episode we will be covering topics which are important from the perspective of General Studies Paper 3, that is Environment and Ecology. So what we do is we take news from the current affairs and then we delve deeper into the static portion of those news. So let us begin with today's episode. So the first news that we will be taking or we will be talking about is dugong. So the news that we will be taking today is dugong first, then there is plastic waste, then there is pollution, antibiotic pollution, and then one more that we will be taking is drought or El Nino effect, which is causing drought in southern African continent countries, that is specifically it is Namibia. So the first news is about dugong. And this is how dugong looks like, and dugong is popularly known as the sea cow. So let us begin. So dugong's scientific name is dugong and is also known as the sea cow. And this is the picture of dugong, and it is one of the 4 surviving species in the order Sirenia. So the order Sirenia has 4 surviving species and one of them is the dugong, and it is the only existing species of herbivorous animal that lives exclusively in the sea, including in India. So mammals usually that we see, they are not herbivorous in nature. When we say herbivorous, it means that these will be eating grass. So they do not eat flesh, or they are non-vegetarians. So they basically eat grass. So they are the only existing species of mammals, herbivorous mammals in India. Then the important part of marine ecosystem. So they also play an important part of marine ecosystem and is a very important part with regard to the maintenance of the food chain and the food web in the ecosystem, and specifically about the marine ecosystem, because they are those herbivores which fetch on or which eats the sea grass. So they also keep a check on the increase of the sea grass, or whether sea grass is in check or not. So you can say that they basically also work as an indicator of the health of the marine ecosystem. Then if we talk about the distribution and habitat of dugong or the sea cow, then that is, they are found in over 30 countries, and in India they are basically seen around the regions of Gulf of Mannar, Gulf of Kutch, Palk Bay and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So in India they are found around these regions. Then if we talk about the conservation status, important point from exam perspective, so you need to focus on this. So IUCN Red List status, they are vulnerable. Under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, they come under the Schedule 1. It means they have the highest protection, and under CITES they are listed under the Appendix 1. So basically they are animals which have the highest protection. Then if we talk about the threats which they are going through or they are facing, so you can say that dugong graze on sea grass, and due to many activities, be it human activities, and specifically if we talk about fishing, then tolling is a technique in fishing which uses net, and which the net rubs and comes out underwater. So they cause harm to the sea grass also, and dugong are animals or mammals which thrive on the sea grass. So if there is damage being done to the sea grasses, then indirectly the damage is also done to the dugong, and threat for dugong also increases because they will not be able to find proper food for themselves. Then trawling is a technique of fishing which is harmful to the environment because it damages the sea floor or the coral reefs. Then other points of threat for dugong is the human activities, like for example destruction and modification of habitats, pollution, illegal fishing activities, unsustainable hunting or poaching, etc. So these are the threats which dugong is going through as of now, and it is basically about human threats. Now let us talk about what are the steps that has been taken for the conservation of dugong. So first is the government of India has been a signatory to the CMS since 1983. CMS means Conservation of Migratory Species. So India is a signatory to CMS, and India has signed the non-legally binding MOU. So non-legally binding MOU has been signed by India with CMS on the conservation and management of different species, like for example Siberian crane in 1998, marine turtle in 2007, and dugongs in 2008, and raptors in 2016. So dugong also comes under this MOU, even though it is non-legally binding. Then Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has also constituted a task force for the conservation of dugong. So basically the motive is to stop their illegal hunting or poaching. Now comes the next point, and that is the El Nino and the Namibia drought. So Namibia, as of now, what is going on is Namibia is a country which lies in the southern side of the African continent, and this country has recently announced that Namibia will be culling down a large number of wild animals in their country because the country is going through severe droughts. So because the country has a huge population of wild animals, which includes buffaloes, elephants, zebras, and many more. So around 750 of these animals will be culled down, and their meat will be provided to the people or the population of Namibia. Because of drought, agriculture is not happening, and as of now, because of high inflation also, people are not able to buy food from the market because it has become out of their reach. So this is the decision that the government of Namibia has taken. So if we will look at the map of Namibia, then Namibia is a country which lies in Africa, and it shares its border with Angola, Zambia, Botswana, South Africa, and on the western side it has Atlantic Ocean. So the Namibia drought culling of wild animals, and the objective is to provide meat to its population, and around 723 to 750 animals will be culled down, and around 150 wild animals have already been culled down. Then if we talk about the Namibia and the drought, so this is not the first time that Namibia or the surrounding countries like Botswana or Angola is facing such severe drought. Previously also we have seen that very severe droughts have taken place, and even the national emergency with regard to the droughts had been declared in Namibia in the years 2013, 2016 and 2019. Then drought affected Namibia and surrounding South African nations, and this drought basically started during the time of 2023 from Botswana, and then from Botswana it has spread to other regions. And even if we look at the weather condition or the climatic conditions of the African nations, so African nation is basically arid or semi-arid type. So agriculture also becomes a very big problem because normal agriculture cannot be done easily, and specific crops needs to be found out which can easily grow in the arid and the semi-arid areas of Africa. And the reasons for drought, first and foremost, is the climate change, and secondly it is about the El Nino, and because of this El Nino effect, the less rain and more heat is taking place. Now what is El Nino? El Nino is a weather phenomena which takes place in Pacific Ocean around the country Peru and Chile, and that is why it is known as the Peruvian current also comes there. Now it basically what it does, it is the wind direction gets changed. Now what is important is to know that what is the impact of El Nino. So if El Nino year comes, whenever there is a year which is El Nino year, so heat or temperature will rise and precipitation will come down, so the drought conditions becomes more easily available, and that is why in Africa during the El Nino year, drought problem is taking place in the southern side of the African continent. And this is not the first time that the culling of animal decision has been taken in the African continent. Earlier also in the countries like Namibia and surrounding countries, this decision had been taken, and one of the reasons is that these countries have a huge population of the wild animals, so the meat from those wild animals can be provided to the people so that people can at least afford to live and eat something. And one of the reasons is that if drought condition prevails and people are not or the population of that country is not able to have sufficient food, then how will the animals have sufficient food? Then animals, if not finding sufficient food, will come out of their habitat, and that is when the animal human conflict chances also becomes very high. So to avoid that situation also, the Namibia government has taken this decision of culling down on their wild population. Now comes the next news, and that this news is about the antibiotic pollution. So recently the WHO has released a report, and this report talks about that in India in the coming future the problem of antibiotic solution will be on a rise. So first of all, what is antibiotic pollution? So antibiotic pollution is basically contamination of natural environments, particularly water and soil, by antibiotic. It means the natural environment, the air, the water, the soil, it becomes contaminated because of the antibiotics. So this is antibiotic pollution. Then this pollution occurs when antibiotics are released into the ecosystem. So antibiotics are released into the ecosystem, and the reasons can be many, and this lead to the proliferation of antimicrobial resistance. And antimicrobial resistance causes a problem, because if the body of any person develops the resistance with regard to any medicine or any antibiotic, then what will it do? If the body has become resistant, then to treat any kind of diseases, the increased dosage of that drug needs to be taken next time, because to a certain level the body of a person or a human has developed resistance with regard to the antibiotics, and to move above that antibiotics, higher doses of the drugs needs to be administered or taken, and this becomes a very harmful condition for any kind of human. So antibiotic pollution is very, very harmful, and antimicrobial resistance is even more harmful. And antimicrobial resistance happens when bacteria, virus, fungi and parasites, they evolve to resist the effects of antibiotics, making infections harder to treat and posing a significant threat to global health, because the body has developed resistance and it becomes difficult to deal with the resistance. Now antibiotic pollution occur from the manufacturing processes, like for example wastewater discharge. Now wastewater discharge, which comes out from the industries, it also has many kind of chemicals, and those chemicals harm the water or the river in which they are going. Then improper solid waste disposal. So the unused antibiotics, raw materials and byproducts, they are often disposed improperly, and which causes or contaminates the surrounding area. Then inadequate treatment. Many facilities, they lack effective systems to treat pharmaceutical waste, allowing antibiotics to enter the environment. Now far from the pharmaceutical plants, many a time it has been seen that the waste comes out. Then leaks and spills and runoff. So accidental leaks and spills during the manufacturing process or transportation or storage takes place, and we hear these kind of news so many times. Runoff is because of the rainwater, which can carry or the antibiotic waste from with it. Then comes the next point, and that is the plastic waste. And plastic waste is one of the points which remains in news throughout the year, and as a country or as a world we are suffering from this problem. So India generates approximately 4 million tons of plastic waste annually, with only a quarter being recycled or treated. So whatever waste we are giving out, we are not able to recycle it back, even 1/4 of it. So if we talk about the most harmful among them is the single-use plastic, because it cannot be reused, single-used plastic, and now the microplastics are also becoming a problem. So if we talk about few of the single-use plastics, so that can be water bottles, jars or caps, and that is polyethylene. Then comes shampoo bottles, grocery bags, so they are high density polyethylene. Then comes cleaning products or seatings, so they are polyvinyl chloride. Then bread bags, plastic films, low density polyethylene. Then yogurt cups, straws, hangers, they are polypropylene. Takeaway and hard packaging toys, they come under polystyrene. So baby toilets, nylon, CDs, they comes under the section of other. So these are the type of plastics which are very harmful for the environment, as it cannot be recycled easily. Now, mismanaged plastic waste in India. Now let us talk about, first of all, choking the environment. How this mismanaged plastic waste causes harm to the environment. So this plastic waste in India, it causes severe environmental degradation, and many a time it clogs waterways, leading to flooding in urban areas. And this problem of flooding in urban areas is becoming a new problem in the urban cities, because almost every metropolitan city is going through this problem of urban flooding. Then comes marine pollution. So with an estimated 0.6 million tons of plastic entering India's ocean annually, and it leading to issues like eutrophication and bioaccumulation. So what it does is that the animals which are the marine animals which are present, it becomes very difficult for them to survive, as the oxygen level becomes very low and the surrounding nutrition and nutrients become so high that the oxygen level becomes very low, and the survival rate of the marine organisms also reaches low. Then up to 90% of seabirds and 52% of sea turtles, they ingest plastic which is present in the marine environment. Now microplastics have been found in drinking water sources and food products, which with potential long-term health effect is still being studied. Now microplastics are plastics which are very, very small in size, and we do not even realize how harmful they are in our day-to-day life. And many a times we see that we ingest these microplastics, which slowly and gradually gets accumulated, and in the longer run it causes a lot of problem and lot of health issues to a person's body. Then accumulation of plastic waste leads to clogging and potential breeding grounds for diseases vectors like mosquitoes, contributing to the spread of dengue and malaria. Now this is also a problem, that the spread of these diseases, other diseases like dengue and malaria, plastic waste also play a role in it, because the mosquitoes also tend to sit on them and acquire things which are harmful for the human body from these plastic waste. Then according to the FICCI report, India could lose over USD 133 billion worth of material value used in plastic packaging by the year 2030. Now let us talk about the Plastic Waste Management Rule 2016, which was amended in 2022. It bans certain single-use plastics, but implementation is inconsistent across state. So many a times it has been seen that the single-use plastics have been banned, but we still find that they are present in the normal use. Then extended producer responsibility. It gives responsibility to the producer who is creating the single-use plastic, that if you are creating this single-use plastic, or if you are producing this single-use plastic, you must also bear the responsibility of taking it away from the environment, because you are contributing to the environment in a negative sense. Then India is among the 12 countries responsible for 60% of the planet's mismanaged plastic waste. So when it comes to the mismanaged plastic waste, India is one of the countries which is among the top 10 countries, or you can say top 15 countries. So these were the 4 news that we covered, and now it's time for the practice question from these news. So the first practice question is, and you people need to tell me the answer in the comment section. So you can give me the answer like 1, 2, 3, 4. First question is, dugongs comes under which schedule of Wildlife Protection Act 1972? Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4. We have discussed this. So give me the answer. Second question, recently in news, culling of wild animals is associated with which of the following African country? Nigeria, Angola, Botswana, or Namibia? We have discussed this also. Third, first ever global guidance on managing antibiotic pollution from manufacturing process is released by WHO, WMO, FAO, or UNESCO. We discussed this report. Last one, in India, the extended producer responsibility was introduced as an important feature of which of the following, and it is also a UPSC PYQ of the year 2019. The Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules 1998, the Recycled Plastic Manufacturing and Usage Rules 1999, the E-Waste Management and Handling Rules 2011, or the Food Safety and Standard Regulation 2011. So there were 4 newses, there are 4 practice questions, and you will give me 4 answers of these practice questions. So give me the answer in the comment section. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.